Why has Varrock focused his attack here?
This temple focuses the energies of life to order the dream. He must be stopped before he reaches the heart of Amirdrassil.
Varrock's trail of destruction makes it all the easier to follow him.
So, welcome to Amirdrassil, the Dream's Hope. Sorry. In case you missed it in the previous video, I'm currently a little under the weather, so I apologize ahead of time.
Guardians! Our strength only grows with their agony!
I need to get closer.
So in case you're wondering, yes, our raid night went pretty well. Our first raid night, I mean. We will have another one tomorrow night. We took down 7 of the 9 bosses with only 2 wipes. So we actually did pretty well. Huh. So, on normal, that slam he does, that actually kills you. I know, because I jokingly just kind of let it hit me to see if it would. And then I told my guild, yes, I did that for science. I did that to test if it would. So yes, on normal, that kills you. On LFR, that just kind of did some damage. And they had a good little laugh about that.
I need a target.
For me, loot-wise, in case you're wondering, it did go pretty well. I got a few pieces. My mug is not really set up here, but I got this new headpiece, and I got 2 new weapons. This, and this. Now, according to Wowhead, these are 2 of my best in slot weapons for this patch. The only other weapon that I would want to get my hands on for this patch is the Warglaive that drops from the Dawn of the Infinite Dungeon. But since I don't have that, it's never dropped for me. These will have to do in the meantime.
I need to get closer.
So, you remember when I pointed out the Ancients of War that we aided?
Consumes all! Guardian!
Including Gnarlroot there? Well...
You are too late, champion! Even now, flame and shadow twists its mind! Will you allow this beast to writhe in agony, or give it a quick death? I look forward to watching either.
Poor Gnarlroot. Once a devoted protector of the Emerald Dream, the formerly majestic ancient has been ravaged by flame and now only seeks to destroy. This makes me sad.
Destruction takes root.
Someone kind that unfortunately gets corrupted, and we have to fight and kill. Makes me sad. By the way, there's a weak aura that we're using for this raid that has some funny sound effects. You're gonna hear them as we go through.
With blood. All life turns to dust.
Get that out of the group. So yeah, those will be on the ground there until we have a transition. He has that cone there that you gotta avoid.
AOE incoming.
He has some ads that will spawn.
Torment spray.
He has those that you gotta avoid. And those spawn the lashers.
Destruction takes root!
Which, by the way, apparently in Heroic, you have to coordinate where you're going to drop those puddles, those pools out there, because they will spawn the Lashers. And you want to spawn them, because if not, you will spawn all of them, and I'm guessing that will cause a wipe. Excuse me.
Shadow and flame take root.
Now this is an interesting part right here, because he's now going to spawn some roots.
Scorch the earth.
And we have to burn them. We're going to get this on here, on us, and we use them to set fire to the roots. To burn them so we can actually get to the next part of the fight. Why we're not burning this part, I don't know. There we go. And then of course it gets this, which causes him to take some more damage. It's temporarily stunned and such. So yeah, it's interesting what we were talking about with our raid leader when it came to the bosses in this raid. Some of them have, in fact actually all of them, have some kind of hard enrage mechanic. Which I don't recall the last time they did a raid where every boss had something like that. Haha, one person died, haha. I laughed a little jokingly, I'm not really laughing at the person. It's something that we, like, jokingly like to have fun with in our guild. We're not really laughing at you, it's more so we're laughing with you.
Poor me.
Yeah, so this isn't going to do anything for my main here, but I definitely want to get my alts in here. I'll have to check what the gear requirement is to get them to queue for LFR, but yeah. No, I definitely want to get some of my alts in here. Hey! Congrats on the Splintered Spark. So you remember how I was talking about how we would get our opportunity to get, you know, get our chance to take on Agira? Oh, there she is. By the way, there's Farak as well. You'll see why he's over there in a bit. It's interesting the order that they have set this up here in LFR.
Worthy challenge!
Hello? Oh, by the way, there was obviously, there's a skip quest in here that you get from Tyrande, and the quest is, not that one, this one.
Five.
And it's kill Smolderon 3 times.
2, 1.
Your aspects
Because normally,
save you.
on normal or higher... Sorry, let me say that again. On normal or higher, you have to go through these doors over here to the other wings and take down the bosses there before you can get access to this center area here. But here in LFR, we're going to be able to just go straight there. It's interesting the route they chose for this.
Blistering skewer!
Gotta break your friends out
Torment.
from being speared.
Your torment begins! Revel in despair!
Look, I'm gonna enjoy this Beacon to the Beyond trinket while I can. Until it's time for me to replace it.
Blistering skewer!
Even though it still does quite a bit of damage. I'm gonna hang on to it probably because people are gonna be like, no, don't replace it. Even though it's like, you can't upgrade it any higher, it's still really good. But we'll see. If I get the trinket from Smolderon here, I may end up replacing the Anvil trinket. Because, according to Wowhead, the trinket that Smolderon drops for me is like the best in slot trinket for Havoc Demon Hunters in this patch. So we'll see. Of course, it dropping is one thing. Winning the roll for it is another.
Crushing laceration!
It's like, if somebody is speared, break them out. Break your friends out. Just saying.
Watch your slay.
It's going to be interesting also learning the tank mechanics for these fights.
Nourishes me!
I say that kind of wanting to do that on certain classes. Whether it's my Druid, my Death Knight, who knows.
Watch your slay.
Blistering skewer!
Marked for torment.
I forge ruin!
Marked for
Revel in
torment.
despair!
Interesting that she's not doing the soak mechanic.
Nourish
But this is LFR, I'm not surprised. Guys, break your friends out. Ooh.
Her screams were beginning to bore me.
Yeah.
The dream is besieged by flame. How is this possible?
The Druids of the Flame have redirected the temple's focus to the Firelands.
The seeds of life are in place. Amirdrassil awaits our defense. And Firak, my wrath.
Champions, lend your strength to hasten their growth.
They wish you chained, Fire Lord. Bound as your predecessor was to the Firelands alone.
I will not be shackled. Come, kindling, and feed the fire.
So yes, that is Smolderon. The Fire Lord that we dubbed the new Fire Lord. And I say we being us, those of us who did play a shaman in Legion. If you guys saw my playthrough of my shaman when he was going through Legion, then you saw when my shaman went back to the Firelands and helped this guy become the new Fire Lord so he could unite with the other elemental lords with us against the Burning Legion. And now this is the thanks we get. We got him this position of power,
Enemies for the fire.
and now he's ready to fight us. I want my shaman to come here and be like, dude! I helped you become the new Fire Lord, and this is the thanks I get? As the new Fire Lord, Smolderon has unleashed the power of the Firelands to expand his domain and incinerate the Emerald Dream. So I guess we're gonna have to go make another Fire Lord, but I'll talk about that after that we do this fight. So, This is a definite DPS check fight. Because, for one thing, this entire platform is going to get covered. And I'm so... Oh boy, this is LFR. I'm already not looking forward to seeing how this group is going to actually deal with that whole mechanic. So there's going to be this thing that happens where... Ooh, they put out a Feast of Gluttonous Hedonism. He's going to have this mechanic where he's going to have swirlies go on the ground, and when they land, they will become big pools of lava that will stay on the platform. So you want to try and do this as slow as possible, but he's also going to have a mechanic where he goes to the center and starts channeling, and we have to soak these orbs of essence, which will empower him, but if we catch them before they reach him, then they will empower us. Now, this is another thing. We get these, which are embers. We have to stay out of the group. Now, there's a soak mechanic there, but if you have an ember, you should not go in there because you want to keep those away from the group. So those are some of the swirly. So yeah, you're trying to bait the pools. I doubt we're going to actually do so decently. We'll see. We'll see how this looks. I guess it's not that bad, but we'll see how this goes. So you can already consider like that portion of the room like, all right, so now we kind of like work around here. So because I don't have an ember, what I should do is help with this soak right here. I'm going to drop darkness to help soak that. There we go.
Cauterizing wound.
But yeah, also now the lava geysers to try and bait the pools into a certain spot. So now after he does that twice, he should, yeah, he's going to run to the center of the room. And he's going to do this channeling thing. Now, this is our opportunity where he does this thing called heating up. Because, yeah, he's also going to get stronger as the fight goes on. Now, those orbs come out, and if they reach him, they power him up. But if we get them, Ignite Essence, then we get a big buff here. 100% more damage done, and more increased healing and absorptions done. And I am about to die. Hold on. Probably because I was not paying attention to those circles of fire around us. But yeah, he's constantly doing damage right now. Ow, that hurts.
Phase change.
And this is not going well at all.
Target you. Special combination.
But yeah, now that he's done heating up, now he has 10% increased damage total. So every time he does that channel thing in the middle, he will get a 10% damage increase. And again, if we let any orbs reach him, he gets even more damage increase. You can see why this is a big DPS check. Not to mention that we are going to run out of room on the platform here. And because we're going to run out of room... Ow! I haven't... Nope, I'm dead. Because I had already used my healing and my health stone, so I had nothing left. But I think a number of our healers are already dead. Yeah, I was not looking forward to this fight on LFR after I experienced it earlier tonight. We did have one wipe on this boss, but our first wipe, we got him to 3%. I have a pretty competent guild raid group that I play with, so... we one-shot most of the bosses, but, like, our raid leader also does a very good job of explaining a lot of the mechanics and such, utilizing the raid tools to, like, you know, make the illustrations to show certain mechanics and where he would like us to stand and deal with this and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Also, this weak aura is pretty decently helpful.
Obliterate my enemies!
So I guess I'll just go ahead and, yeah. So this, well, yeah, when you're dead, you're able to have a chance to look at this. So you can see he's got Ignite Essence.
Special combination.
But heating up, yeah, that's a permanent buff there. He's also constantly doing damage every 3 seconds with blistering heat.
Vengeance!
So yeah.
Watch your step.
Oh, this is interesting. Apparently, some of these puddles don't actually, stay permanent. Because I thought there were puddles over there, and now they're gone. Also, the middle of the room is completely covered.
Be gone!
Watch your step.
Incineration!
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they made it in LFR where some of these puddles will actually go away.
Phase change. Watch your step.
So, somebody got a combat res out in this tank, but the tank isn't taking it, probably because they realized, you know what? This is a wipe. I'm not taking this. So now blistering heat occurs every 1 second. So yeah, you can also see how this is also not just a big DPS check, but also a big healing check.
Phase change.
There we go. Ugh. Alright, so now... these give a nice movement speed buff. Whee! So now I'm moving at 200% increased speed. For 60 seconds. So yeah, it's pretty nice. By the way, you'll notice Faraka is just hanging out up there. And I'm guessing he is just kind of up there, like, soaking and absorbing all that...
I am honored.
Flame power, I guess. Like, it looks like he's just, like, gorging on all that fire, just kind of being, like... you know, forced into his mouth there, like, nom, 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 nom. Which I guess the idea here is that he probably convinced Smolderon to aid him to not just expand his territory, but was like, look, I'm the incarnate of fire, you're the Fire Lord, you empower me, and I will make sure that you get to have a whole bunch of territory and enjoy having Azeroth burn. And he was like, yay! That sounds great! Because Smolderon's an idiot. So here's what I would like. I want a follow-up quest to this from Blizzard, but only for shamans. Like shamans who did the Order Hall from Legion. Where now we go back to the Firelands yet again, and we go to the Fire Elementals there, and we're like, alright, everybody listen up. I have now killed 2 of your Fire Lords. We're here to dub a new Fire Lord, but I want to make this clear. Whichever you takes up that mantle, you better stay on our good side, and you better not backstab us like the other 2 did, okay? Unless you want to end up like the other 2, okay? You want the mantle and power of the Fire Lord? You work with us. Or else. Am I clear? And they all look at each other and they're just like, yeah, no, yeah, we get you, we get you.
Will you succeed where we have failed?
Because if we have to have a new Fire Lord, then it should be like it was in Legion, where the shamans play a role in that. But we gotta make sure that this kind of thing does not happen again, where the next Fire Lord just betrays us yet again. Otherwise, we can't have this where, like, we're just gonna constantly have these Fire Lords just betraying us all the time, okay? It's not very helpful if we're gonna have them constantly betray us like this. Now, I didn't think Smolderon was that great of a pick back in Legion anyway. And now it's like, yeah, guess what? It turns out that's true. Like, seriously, there needs to be follow-up to this. If Blizzard just ignores this or doesn't follow up on this, I'm going to be a little upset. Because, here's the thing. A lot of players don't even know about this. They just assume that this is the guy who took up the mantle. Some may not even know that the Shaman player actually got to help with this. That weapon he's wielding, remember, that was part of the quest that he gave us back during the Shaman Order Hall campaign, where he was like, I need a legendary weapon to be the new Fire Lord. Give me this thing called Ember Scar, which was being guarded by the new Fire Spider boss there. It was a legendary weapon. And so we got to grab it and take it back to him. He was like, yay, I now have my own legendary weapon. How about that? So now he's using that, Ember Scar is what it's called, against us. I'm just saying, this is a significant thing. Now, he's not as awesome or as cool as Ragnaros, obviously. I did that just now just to try and help out with that tank. Because he apparently doesn't, or other people don't know that you have to soak that with the tank. He can't just solo soak that, otherwise he's dead.
Phase change. Watch your step.
escape Amirdrassil's wrath!
So there's my orbs.
Ignited essence.
Ta-da! I love that. But yeah, this is when you pour in the damage right here. When you have this buff that lasts for 15 seconds where you are now doing 100% extra damage. I have a feeling we might be here a little while. But then again, this is LFR. We do get determination stacks. Yay!
Phase change.
But I do find myself wondering, I have not checked this yet.
Special
From a story standpoint, please tell me that they are actually gonna go, you know, do something like I just said, you know?
Cauterizing wound.
Hold on, I'm gonna pop Netherwalk here to try and stay alive.
Watch your step.
While also seeing if I can help bait some right over there in that corner. But I wonder if on the forums, other players that do care about the story and the lore and know about that connection, that did play a shaman in Legion and know about that little part of the story, are probably going, hey Blizzard, I hope you have a follow-up to this.
Watch your step.
Especially involving the shaman, considering that we just dethroned another Fire Lord. And if there now needs to be a new Fire Lord, I would expect that the shaman is somehow going to be a little bit more involved in that, right?
Watch your step.
escape Amirdrassil's wrath!
Ignited essence. Ignited essence. Ignited essence. Smoldering ground.
Ta-da! Oh my gosh, look at how many players are already dead, including one of the tanks. Jeez Louise. LFR, ladies and gentlemen, where some people just can't seem to figure out what how the fight works and what the mechanics are.
Phase change.
Oh man, I apparently got hit by that.
My enemy!
I thought I was just out of that, but apparently not.
Apologies, Fire Lord. I would rather watch you die.
Special coming.
Damnation.
Deceiver! Once I destroy these vermin, you will know my vengeance!
Just shouts everything he says. So if you missed it, he said... Hold on, what was it he said? I'm probably gonna die here looking at this. But at some point he said, Farak! Help me against my enemies!
Target you.
Yeah, Farak, obliterate my enemies!
Damnation.
And Farak said, oh! Apologies, Fire Lord.
Watch your step.
I'd rather watch you die. And he's like, Deceiver! So this is what happens.
Thank you.
So apparently the axe is like Frostmourne, where he can just kind of soak up something, or I guess the power of the Fire Lord. They're just... That's basically what happened there, I guess. So there's the Warglaive, which already dropped for me. Lol. There is a tier shoulder there. How about that? Let's go ahead and roll on that. And there is the trinket. There's what is considered the best trinket that I can get for Havoc. Your melee attacks and abilities have a chance to viciously brand your target, dealing fire damage over 6 seconds, and grant you Fire Starter, which stacks up to 15 times. Damage is increased per stack to a maximum of 81,000. While above 5 stacks, also deals 50% of its damage to you. At 15 stacks, enemies near your target suffer 10% of its damage dealt split between them. Firestarter decays every 5 seconds while out of combat and fades entirely after 15 seconds. And I did not win. either of those. This Death Knight had some really good rolls on those, so... Yeah, that's Smolderon. He's now just a charred corpse. So, this is the second Fire Lord that we have now killed. We said this back in Legion. This guy was a poor, poor substitute for Ragnaros. What's more, this fight... I mean, it's not a bad fight. I'm curious to see how it's going to be on higher. I'm very interested in seeing how this is going to go on the Race to World First when they reach him. But, my initial impressions, not as fun of a fight as Ragnaros. Now, I can say that because I have now gotten to experience the time-walking Firelands Cataclysm raid fight of Ragnaros. Now, yes, it's the normal one and not the heroic one when he got up and had legs, but that fight was more fun and felt more epic because it was Ragnaros. You had epic music. It was literally descending the stairs into his lair, and he rises up. He doesn't anymore, but he rises up and says, "Mortal insects, you dare trespass into my domain? Your arrogance will be purged in living flame." And it was awesome. A much more epic, awesome encounter with Ragnaros. Here, this guy shouts everything he says! His response when he was like, "Farak, obliterate," he's like, "Oh, apologies, Fire Lord, I'd rather just watch you die." And he's like, "Deceiver! Once I destroy these women, you will know my vengeance!" And he always talked like that. Even back in Legion, he would just shout whatever he was saying. And it's just like, ugh. Yeah, let's just say this guy was not impressive, and I was, at the time, looking at Nabundo like, really? We're backing up this guy. This is the guy we're backing up to be the new Fire Lord. Of anyone else there, we had to choose this guy. And he was just like, look, we didn't have that many options. What can I say? I'm really stressing this. I really, really want Blizzard to have a follow-up quest to this. And it can, it doesn't have to be for everyone. It can be for shamans only because it makes sense. Why would other characters, other classes care about this in terms of, they didn't have anything to do with this. Shaman players directly had something to do with this. We literally helped this guy become the new Fire Lord back in Legion. And this was the thanks we get. So we, shamans, should have a follow-up to this. Like, well, that didn't work out. I guess we gotta go dub a new Fire Lord. One that won't betray us like this, Like, if this just gets completely ignored and we never find out about a follow-up, or we don't get a quest to, for the shamans to then do that again, I'm gonna be very irritated. I'm just saying. Oh, gosh. I should probably cut this off, because this much talking is probably going to hurt my throat. Being sick and all that, so yeah, the new Fire Lord is dead. That's 2 Fire Lords we've now killed. And, yeah. I don't know if there's going to be any more follow-up story quests. I think there was a couple of other side quests in the Emerald Dream that I haven't done or shown on camera yet, but, I don't know. We'll see. Otherwise, we may just be continuing in the next wing of LFR when we return. So, stay tuned.